Same as Thomasin, same as you. I'm a really big Edgar Wright fan. So his films have a very, very special place in my film education and in my heart. So I was very much looking forward to it. And this film is, I'd argue it's probably his most visually stunning work. I don't know if you agree, Edith.
Yeah, I think that he's delivered everything he's wanted to, I think, within this film.
And it's difficult to talk about it without spoilers. And he's been
Mm.
very public on Twitter and so on about kind of people experiencing this film with as little information as possible. But to set it up, I was really engrossed in it because I think there's a number of themes and things that he's trying to explore throughout the film, which follows Thomasin's character Ellie as she arrives in London, kind of fresh-faced and very, sure of herself that she's going to make it in London. She's going to fashion school. She's going to be a great designer. She's going to do everything her mom couldn't manage to do for kind of, it's hinted that she had some mental health issues, but it's not really explained. And she's obsessed with the 60s. She's obsessed with London, with this image of London and Soho that has been built up in her head through culture, through movies, through music, through these images that we've all been fed. And she arrives in London in 2020 is a very different place. And fashion college is very different as well. And it's quite brutal for her. And I really related and I really responded to this exploration of the kind of damaging or dark side of nostalgia. We've been talking about the nostalgia cycle, which is supposed to happen every 30 years. And we always look back at other periods of culture, of our cultural history, of history in general, and go like, oh, it was so much better back then. It was so much better even, I don't know, 3 years ago. But it kind of, all of that stays, especially when we haven't lived through particular eras. We build up those images through the films, through the music, through the icons of the time. And that's what Ellie's done. And I think then she gets this really intense shock, both an emotional and quite a thrilling one. So there's at the same time a really emotional heartbreak going on for her character throughout the film that I think is the most relatable aspect of Last Night in Soho for anyone who kind of thought out of place and out of time in the world. And at the same time, there's all this kind of dark story going on. So she starts experiencing these visions of this nightclub singer, Sandy, and who's played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and the seediness of Soho. But it's really tenuous for us to discover whether it's real, whether it's in her dreams, or whether it's actually happening, or whether it's gonna happen. So there's elements of giallo there, which horror fans will love, and there's elements of just creepy, dreamy dreamscapes that make it a very unpredictable film.